Mario Moretti was left paralyzed from the waist down after a tragic confrontation. Eric Walton says it was self-defense. Moretti is suing for $250,000 in medical bills, plus $3,000 for missing inventory.
All parties have been sworn in the matter of Mario Moretti versus Eric Walton.
Mr. Moretti, you claim that Mr. Walton here stabbed you repeatedly after, wait, am I reading this correctly? Can you come see if I'm reading this correctly? Does this say pizza?
Your Honor, that looks correct.
Mr. Moretti, you claim that Mr. Walton here stabbed you repeatedly after an argument over pizza.
Not exactly, Your Honor.
Shush! Did I call on you? You will speak when spoken to, Mr. Walton. Now.
Well, Your Honor, it was a pretty normal day. I just finished drinking my coffee, and...
Listen, I don't care what you were drinking before the incident. Just tell me what happened.
Well, you see, I'm the owner and operator of Sweaty Moretti's Pizza Parlor.
The name suits you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now continue.
Eric here was one of my employees. I thought he was a great guy, excellent pizza slicer. I mean, I've never seen such straight lines.
Okay, what led to the argument?
I was doing some inventory, keeping track of all the ingredients. You know, the cheese, the dough, the sauce, the sweat. Anyways, it turns out we were missing a sizable chunk of cheese, just about $3,000 worth over the course of roughly 2 months. So, of course, I did what any sensible business owner would do, and I called a meeting and explained the cheese catastrophe we were facing. And I noticed that Eric, Mr. Walton, had become very defensive.
That's not true.
Shush!
Your Honor.
So I dismissed all of the other employees so I could speak with Mr. Walton directly. He starts yelling all these crazy things about my cheese to sauce ratio. Says there's not enough cheese on the pizza. Says the sauce is overpowering. Says the sweat is a health code violation. Says the customers are unsatisfied.
Okay, you're arguing. Where? The office?
Yes, Your Honor. As I'm defending my CTS ratio, the argument starts intensifying. I start sweating even more. Eric pulls out a pocket knife and asks me if I want to take this outside. Now, I'm a take no shit kind of guy, Your Honor, so I had to say yes. So we went outside.
Not true. Mr. Moretti actually asked if I wanted to go outside after grabbing a broom and waving it around like a sword.
Shush! Did I ask you to speak?
Sorry, Your Excellency.
Now, Eric, what happened when you were taking it outside?
Well, I jabbed at him with a pocket knife, but he slipped on his own sweat and avoided getting hit.
Is this true, Mr. Moretti?
Yes, Your Honor. After I fell, I hit him on the back of the head with a broom handle and told him he's fired.
See? He just admitted to attacking me.
Shush! Mr. Moretti, please continue.
So after I told him he's fired, he ran inside and grabbed the sword.
Sword? What sword?
The sword in his office.
Stop!
Your Honor.
Stop talking, Mr. Walton. Mr. Moretti, what sword?
This guy. See, I have this decorative sword in my office. It's a 14th century replica katana. I keep it to remind me of the bravery and courage of the men who came before us.
It's a replica. Is it a replica this would be sharp?
Not as sharp as your typical katana, no. But I will admit to having cut a few pizzas with it in the past.
So he stabs you with the katana?
Yes, Your Honor. He got me so bad I can't even control my legs anymore. It's like he tried to slice my torso clean off.
Now, Mr. Walton, you came and the part I can't wrap my head around is when you grabbed the sword. You're already run away and run away from Mr. Reddy. Why was he chasing you?
No, Your Honor. He was trying to get up, but he kept slipping on his own sweat.
So you decide in his office, completely safe from danger, to grab this man's decorative katana and go back outside and stab him.
Yeah, Your Honor.
Why didn't you just leave?
I was afraid that he'd find me at my home, Your Honor.
So you went back outside and stabbed Mr. Moretti?
Essentially, yes.
Do you have any proof that Mr. Moretti instigated the fight?
Your Honor, I have here some pictures of the bumps on the back of my head where Mr. Moretti hit me with his broom, and the medical bills, and the records, too.
Let me see those. What about you, Mr. Moretti?
Yes, Your Honor. I got some medical records and x-rays from after the stabbing.
Please.
Okay, you clearly both suffered some trauma here. Mr. Moretti, do you have any proof that Mr. Walton instigated the fight?
Tragically, no, Your Honor.
Then this is clearly a case of he said, she said. There's only one way to solve this problem.
What is that, Your Honor?
Bring me the pizza.
Okay, Your Honor. Okay, well, all right, listen. I got 2 slices here, okay? One with my established cheese to sauce ratio, and one with the defendants. I'm sorry if any of my sweat has gotten on the pizza,
At least up mine.
more than usual. I apologize. Hope you enjoyed it.
Okay, okay. I see what you're saying. There's definitely a difference here.
Feel free to sample them, Your Honor.
Okay.
Oh, just eat it. Come on. Wow. That is a very bizarre way to eat pizza, Your Honor.
She's licking it.
Silence! Now, Mr. Moretti, I'm from Brooklyn, and we know what a good slice is, okay? And this is garbage, okay?
Both slices?
Yeah, well, this one is just dripping in sweat and grease.
I made it myself. That's the sweat.
And this one is just cheese. There's no sauce, there's no crust, it's just baked cheese.
It's good though, isn't it?
No, it's not. Now, you both are pathetic, but if I was being honest, Mr. Waltons, your pizza is way more appetizing. I favor it in the defendant.
All parties are excused. You may now exit the courtroom.
Honestly, I'm shocked. I'm not complaining though. I mean, I feel bad Mr. Moretti's in the wheelchair and all, but he had it coming for cheating all those people with the cheese for all those years. That sweat though, nasty.
Well, I'm just real disappointed. I really wanted Judge Judy to like my pizza. I've been such a big fan of hers for so many years. I've seen all 5,909 episodes of Judge Judy. Oh boy, I'm in a wheelchair now, so I can't quite make pizza just like I used to. But I hope that if you get the chance, you come down to Sweaty Moretti's and see why they call it the best pizza place in Lower Manhattan.
Shane Cudgel has been accused of committing the heinous crime of arson, along with 3 counts of first-degree murder. It's been alleged that he deliberately burned his own house down, with his wife and 2 3-year-old daughters still inside. Prosecutor Elaine Vincent says he should be sentenced to 150 years to life in prison with no chance of parole.
All parties in this matter of Shane Cudgel versus the state of New York have been sworn in and may be seated.
Now, Miss Vincent, it's your claim that Mr. Cudgel is responsible for burning down his own house with his wife and his 2 toddlers. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. This must be a mistake. Cut to commercial. Oh, it appears that this is not a mistake and that I am in fact contractually obligated to decide this case. Oh God, you know, I've done a lot of stuff as a judge. You know, I've been on abuse cases, domestic abuse cases, but never in my 50 years have I, in my law career, have I had Mrs. Vincent, please, Mrs. Vincent, please walk us through the case.
On the evening of January 3rd, 2021, a fire began at Mr. Cudgel's house that blazed for 15 minutes before firefighters were able to extinguish it.
Put your hand down.
Firefighters recovered the corpses of a woman and 2 small children, later confirmed to be his wife, Maria Cudgel, and his daughters, Lauren and Lisa Cudgel.
Put your hand down, sir. This isn't a classroom.
The fire actually blazed for 17 minutes.
And how do you know this? Mrs. Vincent, please continue.
Lauren and Lisa Cudgel, his twin daughters, only 3 years of age. We have photos here recovered from the scene.
Yeah, bring me those photos. Okay. Get these photos out of my face. I can't look at these. Who's this? Why did you bring this kid here?
Your Honor, this is Ashton Blake. He called 911 after seeing the fire, and he claims he saw Mr. Cudgel pouring his gasoline outside the house.
Put your hand down, Mr. Cudgel. You will speak when spoken to. This is ridiculous. This whole show is just ridiculous. This shouldn't be on television. None of this should be on television. I mean, we used to have a system. All I did for 30 years was come sit, laugh at a couple of poor people, you know, property cases, you know, someone's dog was being an asshole to somebody. No big deal. But somewhere, someone decided that reality TV stars, you know, should be responsible for this stuff.
Your Honor, if it would please the court, could my witness, Mr. Blake, give his testimony?
You know, sure, whatever. You know, I just get this over with.
Your Honor, I was looking out my window with binoculars trying to get a good look at Mrs. Cudgel.
Wait, excuse me?
She's just a real fox is all. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Mr. Cudgel pouring gasoline around his house.
Did you call the police?
No, Your Honor, my hands were... I was busy.
What were you so busy doing that you couldn't call the cops?
Well, I also just thought maybe he was... Yeah, I don't know. I'm not perfect.
So when exactly did you call the fire department?
Well, I saw the fire start, but I couldn't just stop what I was doing still, so maybe 5 minutes after it started.
Okay, I don't need to hear any of this anymore. Mr. Cudgel, you claimed that you were returning home when the fire started?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you describe exactly what you were doing during this time of the fire?
Well, Your Honor, I was drinking my coffee.
This whole thing is bullshit.
Well, I was driving home from work when I saw Mr. Blake walking away from my house and throwing a match, setting my house ablaze.
Of course. Oh, fucking course you did. He says you did it. You say that he did it. I mean, why are we here? Why are any of us here? This is so pointless.
That's how I felt too, watching my family burn alive, hearing their screams.
Stop talking.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You can do this. You can do this, Judy. You're fine. You're a 3-time Emmy winner. This is the part of the job. This is part of it. You can make a decision. What other evidence do you have? There has to be something. I don't know, traffic cam footage, Mr. Kujal, of you on your way home?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. Here's an image of me driving back home that evening.
So there's like 15 bottles of gasoline in the back of your truck.
Yes, Your Honor, I work at a gas station.
That doesn't mean you drive around with 15 spare gallons of gas in the back of your truck.
Actually, Your Honor, I get cheaper gas as a gas station employee, so I like to bottle it up and sell it to the neighbors for a small profit. Just my way of paying it forward. Ashton here even bought 3 gallons the week before the fire. I can only assume he used them to, oh God.
Mr. Blake, is this true?
Yes, Your Honor, but I used the gasoline for a bonfire I had last week with some friends.
Mr. Kujal, do you have any proof of purchase?
Yes, Your Honor, here you go.
Okay, well this is definitely fake. I mean, the handwriting is saying that Ashton bought 3 gallons of gasoline for $5.
Your Honor, we're just friendly neighbors selling each other gasoline. We don't have to keep formal records. I just like to keep track of some of the money I make.
Mrs. Vincent, do you have any more evidence to prove your case?
Your Honor, I believe it comes down to a matter of motive. What reason would Mr. Blake have to murder Mr. Kojal's family?
If I may, I really ought to add to that. Just the night before the fire, I caught Mr. Blake making love to my wife, and I threatened to kill him. I think he may have done this as some sort of twisted power play. Maybe he thought I wasn't home.
He threatened to kill my client.
You've got to be kidding me. You think I'm going to believe this? I can't believe this is like happening. Mr. Blake, is any of this true?
I'm not gonna say that, like, I wasn't hitting that.
Mr. Blake, you're under oath.
Sorry, yes, Your Honor. Anyways, yes, I was having sexual relations with that woman.
Your Honor, I believe that Mr. Blake saw our car missing from the driveway and thought my wife was gone and I was home. He believed that if I and my daughters died in a tragic accident, then he could start a new life with my dearly beloved.
You know what? I'm calling your bluff. Now, what happens if I remove myself from the case immediately? Do I have to hear any of this? I'm not doing this. It's not happening. It's not happening.
It's in your contract.
Yeah, my contract? Fuck you. This is my contract. This is over. I'm Judge Judy. Case dismissed.
All parties are excused, I guess.
I'm first.
It's Tampa first. I got you. It's being real. I'm sorry. Go.
Now, I can't really say I'm happy with the results, but I'm confident that once more evidence is discovered, Mr. Kojal will be behind bars for a very long time.
Why would I burn down a house with such a hot piece of ass living in it? That doesn't make any sense.
Am I in this one?
Yeah, just go for it. Just give him the note.
Okay.
I dropped it.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Where the fuck? It's okay.
I just want all this to be over, and then I'll just get some ice cream and pick up that insurance check.